Hi, this is Dr. Graves from the CSUN Geography Department and geographyplanet.org. This is a video tutorial that is designed to introduce students to ArcGIS Pro, the leading GIS software that stands for Geographic Information Systems. What you're going to be introduced to in this video is the basic functions of the software and a handful of the vocabulary that you will need to have some facility with moving forward during the semester, in which you will learn increasingly more complex uses of the software. So let's go ahead and get started. So what you see in front of you is a map of the United States, and this is a project file called Introduction. It has multiple layers that can be turned on and off. I'll turn on and off the states layer. This is the major cities layer. If I turn both of those layers off, what you see is the base map layer. Now the base map layer is being served from a server at software headquarters, I presume. If I click on this round cylinder here where it says list by data source and scroll down, you see that this layer, the topographic map, if I turn it off, it's completely blank, is coming in through a server. If this map is loading slowly, simply uncheck that layer and it will speed the loading of the files. Going to turn back on the U.S. states and major cities layers. On the top layer, we have a point layer. You turn off the states, and you can see these are points, and they are graduated point layer. If you click on one, it will bring up a pop-up window here that indicates this is Minneapolis, and there's some data associated with it in the pop-up window. These are a type of map called a vector map, this layer, as each of these represents a single latitude, longitude coordinate. They look larger just to indicate the greater size of population. Later in the assignment, you're going to be asked to identify several of these cities and grab some data from it to show that you can use it. Underneath is another vector style layer, and this is a polygon map used to display the states of the United States. And once again, you can click on one of those and a pop-up window appears with some data associated with it. This layer is colored in, so it's a choropleth map, also called a graduated color map. If I right-click on the U.S. states layer in the table of contents and select the symbology, it will show us that the graduated colors stand for the population of states in 2010, and the method of creating the classifications or classes is quantile. Drop down, we see that that distributes observations equally across the class interval, giving unequal class widths, but here's the important thing, same frequency of observations per class. And since there's 50 states and they're divided into 5 classes, that means that each of the colors has exactly 10 states in it. And so if we count, say, this middle color here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the same would apply to the light colored states and the darkest colored states. It can be deceiving, though, because it's an arbitrary distinction between the states. If we change this to equal interval, which is another way of doing it, then we would see that California is in a class by itself, Texas in a class by itself, Florida and New York, the states with roughly 15 to 23 million are in the third class. There's this fourth class, Ohio, Illinois, Michigan, and a few other states that have between 8 and 15 million, and the rest of the states basically have less than 8 million people. If we open the histogram, you can see that most of the states fit into those lower categories. There is one more additional type of vector map. I'll zoom into California, and this is a line map. So you have points, polygons, and lines, and this just shows the California rail system as a demonstration of the kind of... So let's turn those fellas back off, and I will turn on one more layer here just to take a look, and we will zoom in on it for the moment. This is Greater Los Angeles, and this polygon here represents the city of Los Angeles. I'll click on it again to highlight it a couple of times, and here's some data about Los Angeles. When you are zoomed in, it is nice to have cities rendered or mapped in polygon format rather than point format. The red dot and the polygon both stand for Los Angeles, and you can see why. If we zoom out, it makes more sense not to have a polygon map, but just a point map that represents Los Angeles. So the type of map that you use is somewhat dependent upon the scale at which you're analyzing something. So if you're zoomed way out, that is a small scale map, then points are better representations for cities than polygons, which work much better at a large scale map when you're zoomed way in. Okay, so what I think you ought to do is at this point click Save or Save As, and save a copy of this on a drive that you control. This map probably, if it's on a shared drive which you have no editing access, then you want to save your own copy generally. This is not always true, but it's a good habit to get into. You may want to pause a moment if your software is prompting you to answer a few questions. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the basic tools of ArcPro. One, the Explore tool, which you may have used already. This tool allows you to zoom in and out. If you zoom too far out, you can always click on this little globe icon, which brings you back to the full extent. There is also the Select tool and the Measure tool. These are ones that you will use most frequently on the main tool ribbon in this course. In order to use the Measure tool, click on it to activate it, and you can drag, click, and drag from any one point to another point. So I'm going to click on Minneapolis and drag it to Denver, Colorado, and it reports the distance between the two. I could click there and then drag down to Dallas, and it gives me the distance between Dallas and Denver. And then the measure distance window, it has the sum of the path that perhaps the plane may take between those three cities. I could complete the circle and bring it back, and it gives me the entire distance. In order to start over, click on the eraser icon in the measure distance button, and you can start again. You may be asked to stop at this point and answer a couple of questions that demonstrate your ability to use the measure tool. We will eventually try to use some of the other tools from the Analysis tab and Tool ribbon, and perhaps some of the others later on. Okay, the next thing we want to do is to take a look at, in the major cities, right-click on major city, and that's a two-finger click if you're on a Mac or a Chromebook, and from the pop-up window select Attribute Table. Notice the cities are arranged here, and just click on the Select tool from the Map ribbon and select a city in California. So I'm going to just click on this one here, and notice the interactivity between the map window and the attribute window. So Fresno appeared. If I click up here on Sacramento, then Sacramento appears. I can also draw a box around all of those California cities, San Francisco, Sacramento, Oakland, etc., appear. To get rid of these highlighted selections, you can either click clear up here on the ribbon, or you can click clear, that is here in the attribute table, and it works in backwards fashion. So if I select San Francisco or Sacramento, Oakland, over here in the table, they will all appear highlighted on the map. So that's a good thing to have under your belt. I believe the next thing that we're going to do is clear, and then we will right-click on the column header name, and notice that we can sort ascending or sort descending. I believe you should pause and perhaps answer a question or two. Okay, I think you will repeat the process by sorting. So right-click on area land, sorting ascending, sorting descending, and then repeating it again once, again for area water, in order so that you can answer some questions that demonstrate your ability to use the sort tools in the attribute table. Now close the attribute table by clicking X next to the major cities. The next thing we're going to do is that we want to activate the layer Southern California Places. Click in the table of contents. I'm going to right click on Southern California Places and select Zoom to Layer, which zooms in so we can see this area better. Once again, this is a polygon layer showing all of the places in Southern California. This indicates all the cities. So Santa Clarita out here is Thousand Oaks, and we can click, I don't know, down here in Orange County somewhere, Newport Beach City. We're going to use the mouse to zoom in until the point indicating the city of Los Angeles is highly visible. And what I want you to note is that it's almost in another city. So pause right now and answer one or more questions to indicate that you understand the relationship between the point files and the polygon file. Next, right-click on Southern California Places and open the attribute table layer. Okay, so I'm going to right-click here once again and zoom back to the layer so we can see all of this Southern California places. Then what we're going to do is right-click on population per square mile and bring up the statistics window. This, of course, will bring up another window, and it has the population per square mile. I believe at this point you may be asked to stop and answer a question about the mean, the median, the standard deviation, maybe min, max, something in this table. Note that if you use the select tool to select any of the locations on the map, they also appear as they did in the attribute table, but now in the statistic window in this histogram. If we select the histogram like that, then all of the cities or places that fall into these higher density areas also appear on the map, and we can select several of these so we can find what is the most dense place in LA County. If we return here to the Southern California Places attribute table, and now that we have selected just these two most densely populated cities, we select here in this lower left-hand corner, Show Selected Records. It will turn off all of the other places, and then we can see that these two most dense places are Walnut and Maywood City. So stop and answer a question now. At this point, you're essentially finished with this introductory lab exercise. Please note again that you may want to save the entire file, and that finishes this video tutorial.